This is a song that Freebo wrote. Actually, maybe you can tell us a little later when we're done the story behind this song, because we don't know the story. This one's called "We Are All One People." You and I are both the same. We are all one people. Open hearts and open minds. We want to be peaceful. We all live in one big world. All the boys and all the girls. You and I are both the same. We are all one people. Do, re, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, re, do.
I am you and you are me. We are all each other. All the young and all the old. You are all my brother. We all live in one big land. We all play in one big band. All the children holding hands. We are all one people. Do, re, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, re, do. You and I are both the same. We are all one people. Open hearts and open minds. We want to be peaceful. We all live in one big world. All the boys and all the girls. You and I are both the same. We are all one people. You and I are both the same. We are all one people. You and I are both the same. We ought to be peaceful. Do, re, mi, re, do.
All right. We have a very special Sunday every week, but this particular Sunday is even more special because we have a very special guest who's going to do both our music as well as be our guest speaker. And I'm going to invite Anthony Burbage to come up to introduce our guest today.
I'll use my own mic. So good morning, everybody. I've known Freebo, I guess we met maybe back around 2008 or 2009. And I guess what I want to say to introduce Freebo is not so much about his history, and you can find that on the internet. He's toured the world with many famous people, from Raitt to Ringo Starr and Crosby, Stills and Nash and Neil Young and so on. Obviously, he's very talented as a musician and as a songwriter. He's won awards. The song we sang this morning, he won an award for, a Positive Music Award for. But for me, every time that I've been with Freebo, it's not just about his talent, it's about who he is. And I hope that you'll stay around afterwards and have a chance to meet him in person. His presence is always calming for me. I'm guessing he's going to tell you a little bit about his own story, how he arrived at that place, but he's what I would aspire to be like, not just as a songwriter, but as a person, because he embodies what we talk about here every week at Unity. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Freebo to the stage.
Good morning. I got a song for you. It's called Call Me Freedom. I was born into a boundary, someone else's dream, half awake and headed to a dead-end destiny. Then a wind came out of nowhere, caught me by surprise. It woke me from my slumber and it opened up my eyes. Call me freedom, riding with the wind. I can't afford to waste another day. Call me freedom when I pass this weekend. I'll meet play. Make the music play. We'll be singing, whoa, whoa, that's your part. Whoa, whoa, can't hear you. Whoa, whoa, one more time. Whoa, whoa. Well, it ain't about the money, and it ain't about the fame. You'll never find your happiness in someone else's game. So I'll play my ukulele, you can strum that old guitar, and we'll sing this song together while we're riding in my car. Call me freedom, riding with the wind. I can't afford to waste another day. Call me freedom, when I pass this way again. I'll meet you and we'll make the music play. We'll make the music play. We'll be singing, whoa, 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 whoa. Catch me in the moment, catch me as you are. Catch me with a smile and we'll catch a falling star. Well, I'll meet you at the sunrise, we'll dance all through the night. We'll sleep enough in heaven, so let's get down and do it right. Call me freedom, riding with the wind. I can't afford to waste another day. Call me freedom, when I'll pass this way again. I'll meet you and we'll make the music play. We'll make the music play. Singing, whoa, whoa, harmony, whoa, whoa. If you ever write another verse and add it to this song, make sure it rhymes in rhythm so we all can sing along. And when the song is over, though it may never be, I'll meet you back in heaven and you can sing this song to me. Call me freedom, riding with the wind. I can't afford to waste another day. Call me freedom, when I pass this way again. I'll meet you and we'll make the music play. We'll make the music play. We're singing, whoa, 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 acapella. Whoa, 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 hey, hey, hey. One more time. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. That was very nice. You guys are in good voice this morning. Thank you, Anthony. Thanks for that. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Appreciate that. And it's good to be here. On this spiritual journey. Actually, it's a human journey. Spiritual being on a human journey, right? Courage to change the things they can. There we go. Well, most of you know the courage to change the things they can comes from the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity, peace, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And all three of those are really important. I mean, how many times have you known people like
Oh God, it's raining today. Oh, I hate it when it rains. I hate it when it rains. It's raining. You know. How do you find the serenity, the peace, the calmness to accept that and go on? Well, okay, I guess I'm not going to go out and get a suntan today. I guess that's not going to work. I guess I better do something else once I accept it. And I think acceptance is huge. It's huge because that's the only way, really, that we can ultimately find peace. Because acceptance of what is to be in harmony with what is. The opposite of that is to be in opposition. And if you're in opposition of what is, it's a recipe for suffering, right? The math is really simple, really simple. So it's just a question of finding a way. And it's not always easy. Now there are times when you don't want to accept what is because it's a situation that you just really feel needs changing. And that's where the courage to change the things they can comes in. But let me tell you a little bit about my own story on how I've dealt with that in my life and what's brought me exactly to this place, a place where at 70 years old, and it's hard to believe that I'm 70, I know. I don't feel a day older than 68 anymore. So 70 is a new 68, that's good. But I've arrived at a place of basic serenity. Not perfect, but a whole lot more than I've ever been. And I've accepted a lot of things, but I've also changed the things that I can. And that took a lot of courage. And I've heard Maya Angelou say that of all the virtues, that courage is the most important. Because without courage, you can't get to the other ones. So the courage is what gets you through the fear. And fear is a big deal. We are fear-driven human beings. You know, fear of failure, fear of success. As Julia Cameron says in The Artist's Way, it doesn't matter, fear is fear. And so the only way through it is to deal with it, you know, is to accept it for what it is and say, okay, do I have the courage to change this? Then, of course, the wisdom to know the difference comes in. Is this something I can change? I can't change the rain, but I can change my life. I can change my choices. I can change my choices. And that's something that I've done a lot because I was very good and still can occasionally, I catch myself now, at pointing the finger at everybody and everything for my problems and what's wrong with those. And isn't it interesting when you look and you see the three fingers pointing back at you, right? Love that metaphor. And that's where my part comes in, you know, and that is the wisdom, know the difference. I do have the power to change me. I can't change you. Lord knows I've tried. I can't do it. And I know some of, not you, but certainly my mother and people in my life tried to change me. And the only one who could change me was me, you know. And there's something very empowering when you do that. And it feels really good. One of the things that helped me change me and realize what's going on is a little voice I have inside of me. I call her, and it's a her. I call her my personal GPS. Let me tell you about her.
Let me tell you about my angel, the one you never see, my everyday companion, living deep inside of me. She guides me through the trenches, she gets me out of every mess. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. Well, she leads me on a journey, she leads me to the goal. She's always on the money, never leaves me in the cold. And every time I listen, I wind up being truly blessed. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. going on. I don't heed her voice, so I'll make a wrong turn. I'm feeling lost and afraid. Then I hear my angel calling, recalculate. Well, I gotta pay attention, 'cause it's powerful stuff. Gotta turn it on, and I gotta turn it up. And every time I do it, you know I'm guaranteed success. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. Yeah, she played boy. Some saying no, but someone else is whispering yes, yes, yes. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. Yes, she's my Bible, she's my buddy, crystal clear and never muddy. She's my lonesome, she's my tunnel, never tardy, always prompt. She's my Sherpa, she's my guide, never runs and never hides. Truly awesome. She's the best. She's my personal GPS. My personal GPS. She's my personal GPS. Yes, she's my personal GPS. Yes, yes.
Thank you. And when I listen to her, I'm all right. And when I don't, not so good. And the older I get, the more I go. She's right. She's always been right. Gotta listen to her. So let me tell you a little bit about how I've learned to listen to her. Because in terms of her recalculating, often that's done with causing me a certain sense of frustration. It's kind of about me getting from my head, and I can go there in a heartbeat, spend a lot of time there, into my body. They call it sinking down, which really helps get in the moment. Take a deep breath. That gets you into your body, right? And when you're taking a breath, try it. You can't think. Close your eyes, take a breath. Focus on the breath. Do that one more time. Can't really think about anything else at that moment. Right? You're actually focusing on the breath. You're in the moment. Everything else disappears. Just for that moment, that comes right back. But I think that's the secret in how to get there. And of course, the yogis and the Eckhart Tolles of the world, that they can do it all the time. But it's a nice place to try and get to. Well, I found it through a lot of my life. My GPS was telling me this isn't right. It was making me feel uncomfortable, frustrated. Of course, the way I acted out was blaming. So, like I say, I saw the three fingers pointing back. And a lot of that happened in my life. I wasn't planning on being a musician. This was not my mother's dream. Although I think she'd be proud of me right now, standing up here and sharing this and having kind of a suit and having quite wild hair and everything. But I was groomed to be a doctor. I was meant to be a musician. I was meant to do this. I was meant to be, but I was groomed to be somebody else. And it took me a while to go from the person I was groomed to be to the person I was meant to be. And a lot of that happened through finding out what doesn't work. And I think that's what life's about. It's about making mistakes. You go out, you try something, either works and doesn't work. If it works, and if your GPS is telling you, no, it sort of works, it really works, you know that. You know if you're in the perfect job or if you're in a job that just is giving you enough money to do the things, to get the money so you can do the things that you really want to do. And wouldn't it be nice to have a job where the job actually feeds you, you know, and it gives you the money to do the things that you want to do. So I think the only real mistake is the one you don't learn from. Mistakes are good if you learn from them. I've learned from a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. And looking back, I'm glad I made every single one of them because they all got me right here. I had to make them. All the dots connected to right here. But along the way, when the doctor thing didn't work out because me and organic chemistry didn't exactly see eye to eye, and I kind of bounced around from school to school, and through the circumstance, I wound up playing guitar with a fellow who said, hey, you're a natural bass player, which I am, because that's the way I think. And started a rock and roll band, and that took me to another rock and roll band, and that rock and roll band got a record deal, and in the process I met a young Bonnie Raitt, and when the band broke up, I'm playing with Bonnie, and now I'm in the big time, and played at Carnegie Hall, and Madison Square Garden, a bunch of wonderful places that you aspire to. My mother said, when you play at places like this, you'll be a success. It was interesting, when I played at Carnegie Hall, I felt, well, it's Carnegie Hall, but something wasn't feeling real good. The sound wasn't good. The audience wasn't reacting the way I thought they would, and Bonnie wasn't saying all the things I thought she should say. And why don't you play this tune? And it just didn't feel real comfortable. Now that's me pointing the finger, but deep down it was the frustration of, this is not the way it's supposed to be. There was something inside my voice calling me that I needed to do something else. And that happened for a long time. It took me many years till I really heard that voice. And what it was saying was basically that, Freebo, you can hear all these things in the music. You can hear harmonies, you can hear melodies, you can hear rhythm, you can hear lyrics, you've got all these production ideas. Nobody seems to want to take your ideas because, remember the line in that first song I said, it ain't about the money and it ain't about the fame. You'll never find your happiness in someone else's game. Well, it took me years to figure out that I was playing someone else's game. It was a great game, and I was playing it well. But my GPS was telling me, there's something more for you. And it wasn't an ego thing. I had plenty of FaceTime and stage time, and people knew who I was. I was making real decent money. It was a much deeper calling. It was that part of me saying, it was my creative child screaming to come out, saying, you have so much to say and you're only allowing yourself this small amount to say. Because playing the bass is a wonderful thing to do, but it's like being a tackle on a football team. It's wonderful when you do it, you throw the block and allows the guy to score the touchdown, and that does thing, wins the game. It's great, but you don't have a whole lot of control other than what you're doing. If you could see the whole thing, and like I was sharing with my buddy Chuck, say, it's fourth down, we've tried for 3 downs with 1 yard to go, and they've got 11 men stacked up at the line, but we're gonna get through that line anyway, and they stop and it's like, throw a little pass, take it, it's easy. Not quite sure where that was going. So I realized that I need to take what the defense gives you. That's kind of what that metaphor is about. And I needed to create the vessel to put all these ideas that I had in. And look at the 3 fingers pointing back at me. And so I made a conscious decision to start writing songs. Because the song was the place that I could put all these ideas. The melodies, the harmonies, the philosophical ideas, the emotional ideas. I could produce them myself. And now, 5 CDs later, you know, and 20 years later, actually 15 years getting up and doing this, I feel really comfortable doing it. But I didn't at first. When I first started to do it, I was filled with fear. I was filled with the fear of just the fear of getting up and doing it, you know, deer in the headlights. I was filled with doubt. I wonder if I'll be able to do this. I mean, I got to compete with people like Jackson Browne, James Taylor, and people that I've met and done those kind of songs, and gosh, will I ever be that good? And I had to deal with the regret. Gosh, I'm 45 years old. I wish I'd have started this at 25. Maybe it's too late. So I had to get the comparison out of my mind. You know, I'll never be James Taylor. I'll never be Jackson Browne. And that's true, but they'll never be Freebo. So my only job is to be the best Freebo that I can be, except the things you cannot change, right? I can't change that, so I've got to accept that. Okay, now have the courage to change the things I can. So I found myself in a place where I really had to dig down and get my courage, you know, and deal with those fears and the doubts and regrets and the blames. And I want to sing a song for you that has all those elements in it. Because I'm reading a book at one point, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, as I just started this process. I saw a phrase in there. The phrase said, if not now, when?
When I was a young boy, I had these dreams. And time didn't matter, or so it seemed. Now I'm still a dreamer, like I was back then. But time keeps screaming, if not now when. Hundreds of heartaches and broken down plans, so many what ifs, and what if I can't? My fear held me captive, caged in a pen. It's time to break free, boy. If not now, when? If not now, when? If not me, I can't pretend, 'cause I know it's true. I make this vow, I swear it. My time is now, if not now, when? Doubting and blaming, it's time to let them go. 'Cause this healing journey, it can go so slow. But I hear these voices again and again. They keep on calling, if not now, when? If not now, when? If not me, I can't pretend, 'cause I know it's true. I'll make this vow, I swear it. My time is now, if not now, when? It's time to take this leap of faith without a net. Hello to destiny and goodbye regret. If not now, if not me, I can't pretend, 'cause I know it's true. I make this vow, I swear it. My time is now, if not now, if not now, if not now, when?
Yeah, that's my story. So, I went off and started to do it. Fought through those fears and had those, what I call little victories. Little victories, that's when you eventually manage to face your fear and you walk through it. And you get through it and you go, ah, I did it. And those things feed you. I know how they fed me. Each one makes you a little stronger, little victories. It got to the point where my mother, who wanted me to be a doctor, and who, when I came back and said, Mom, I'm going to be a musician, she said, well, you won't be successful until you play at Carnegie Hall. And one day I called her and said, Mom, Dad, we're playing Carnegie Hall, I've got front row seats for you. And it turns out that, yeah, that was attracting a success, but it wasn't a success in here for me. It wasn't really working. It didn't feel as good as it was supposed to feel. But getting up here in front of you guys today, this feels great. This feels really natural. Feels fulfilling. Feels like I'm sharing myself. That feels really good. You're going to get from it whatever you're going to get from it. Again, I can't change you, but I can change me, and I can just show up as my authentic self and tell you my story and be who I am, and you're either going to like it or not. I can't change it. But I can say, I can change myself, and so this feels good. Would I like to do this at Carnegie Hall? Absolutely. I love to do this at Carnegie Hall, and who knows, maybe someday, maybe for my 75th, I'll do that. Live at 75 at Carnegie Hall. Hey. So my mother, who's a thread throughout this story, got to the point where when I finally said, Mom, I'm going to be a songwriter. She said, well, but you're doing well as a bass player. I said, well, Mom, but I've got something else. Well, was it bigger fish to fry? No, it's not bigger fish to fry. It's just, I couldn't really explain it to her. And so she was a little skeptical, as mothers can be, but she was supportive. And I think as my CDs progressed, she got to the point where she really began to like my music. And by my last CD, she sent me a beautiful phone message. I wish I still had it, but I know it in my head. And not only was she proud of me, but she said, you've really turned into a wonderful songwriter and singer, and I just play your record over and over again. I love it. It felt really good. And her favorite song on that record became a song called That's What Love Is, which I'd like to share with you because we lit the love candle today, and this is a song about love. It's really about the higher order of love, not I love you and you love me and we'll live happily ever after, what I call the fairy tale of love. This is the real deal, and I'm so happy that she felt this way about this. And actually, the last part of a long story, but the last part of it is that I submitted this song to the Posse Awards, and it was nominated, and I told my mom, and she knew what the Posies were because I'd been nominated before, and she said, oh, I hope you win. I said, well, Mom, there's a good chance I won't. There's 3 other people nominated. She said, oh, no, it's so important to win. Well, I said, well, we'll see. And I went up to Orlando, and sure enough, and the winner is Freebo. That's what love is. Yes. So I accepted the trophy, and I said, I'm going to see my mother down the road in Boca Raton, and I'm going to give her this trophy. So I did, and I walked in the door, and I handed her the trophy. And she said, what's this? And I said, Mom, it's the Posse Award. She said, oh, you won. Yes, I did. She said, for what song? This was after she already knew, but she was 99 years old at this point. And I said, that's what love is. And she said for the 3rd time, I told you to submit that song. Well, thank you, Mom. I said, but you won. I said, yes, I did. She said, oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad. She said, because now you're finally a success. Now that's Mayall, that's my mom. And she died 3 weeks later. which really wasn't a bad thing because it felt like that completed the cycle. And it felt like she accepted me for who I am, for my truth. I was now the person I was meant to be, not the person I was groomed to be. And by showing up as the person I was meant to be, fully present in myself, she saw that and she got it. Which for me was a big deal. So I want to sing this song for you and for Mayall, and to lead us into the meditation. That's what love is. It's no whisper you hear in the midst of your fear. It's revealing. It's a part in the heart, and it's just who we are. It's so healing. It's the power inside, always wins over pride, never judges. And it strengthens and comforts us all. That's what love is. It's a healer of souls, makes the broken ones whole and complete. It's what gives you the strength and the hope when you're feeling defeated. It's a compass and guide, and it won't be denied, so we trust it. It's the light in the dark of it all. That's what love is. And it's patient and kind, and it's deaf, dumb, and blind to the madness. It's the ace of the dealer of truth. It's the healer of sadness. It's a place that you know from so long, long ago, and it's free. And you feel when it's there, 'cause you're able to share from your being. And it takes us all higher, and it lifts and inspires all it touches. It's the best part of being alive. That's what love is. And it's patient and kind, and it's deaf, dumb, and blind to the madness. It's the ace of the dealer of truth. It's the healer of sadness. It's beyond right or wrong, and it's not weak or strong. It's not winning. For the young and the old, it's a brave and a bold new beginning. It's the peace and the hope, it's what helps us to cope. It's forgiveness. It's the light that will always endure. It's eternal and simple and pure. That's what love is. So see if you can go into that deep place. Close your eyes and just take a minute and take that deep breath. Get into that place of love, acceptance. And think a little bit about courage, because courage and love are synonymous. A lot of self-love and courage. Just know that you have the courage to change the things you can. You just have to believe it. Take a deep breath. So let me tell you another story. Going to my last song here. I really believe if you do the right things for the right reasons, the right results will happen. You never know when or how. But I think it's one of those universal laws that just seems to hold true. Do the right things for the right reasons, the right results will happen. I have a friend where I live in California, Hot Springs, Central California, and he has cancer, and he's dying. Not a super close friend, but somebody whom I have a lot of respect for, somebody who's had a pretty troubled life, but got his life together in the last 10 years and made as many amends as he could and tried to walk the straight and narrow, as it were, and got hit with cancer, and so he's dying. He's in a lot of pain, and I heard about it. I just come back from the tour, and I heard that he's not doing well. He might have a couple days, might have a couple weeks. So I thought, well, I'll go and go up and pay my respects and maybe play him a couple songs, play him a couple of dog songs that I probably wouldn't do in church here, but some fun stuff, and kind of cheer him up, do what I could, and just tell him that I love him, basically. And I'm a big believer in talking about the elephant in the room. You know, in this case, the elephant was, he's got cancer and he's dying. He's in tremendous pain. I walked in, and it was in his bones, and he even literally a couple of days previous, he had gone to stand up and broke a bone in his leg, because it's just completely brittle. So it's tremendous pain. He was on some pain meds, and he had to kind of wait till the next one kicked in, and he was just really holding on. So I did my best, but I played a couple of happy songs, and I could tell that he was again just hanging on, and it was maybe time for him to leave. And I kind of downloaded something. You know how you get these little moments of truth, and I said. And I talked to him, I was talking to him, and I said, Jim, I said, I'd like to play one more song for you. I said, do you have enough strength? He said, yeah, I'd love to hear one more song. I said, well, this is a song that I wrote that was actually conceived at a funeral of a friend of mine, and made me start thinking about my own funeral. I thought I'd like it to be a celebration of my life. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if some point during my funeral, everybody stood up and gave me a standing ovation? I kind of pictured that happening. I thought, wow, that's cool. That would be nice. And I thought, what a wonderful tradition that would be. Give people a standing ovation, a celebration for a job well done. I said, so I just want to say, Jim, that, you know, I've got great respect for you and a lot of love, and, you know, while you're still here, I just want to say to you that, you know, in my mind, you get a standing ovation. I'd like to play this song for you. And I played the song for him. I'm about to play for you. And he listened very intently. His eyes were closed, his head was down. And right near the end of the song, he just completely broke down. And I wasn't sure if it was because he was in tremendous pain or it was a song. I wasn't sure what it was, but when I finished the song, he just looked up with tears streaming down his face. and said, thank you. He said, that was wonderful, I appreciate that. And his eyes started getting brighter and brighter, and he said, would you play that at my funeral? I said, yeah, I'd be honored. He said, really? He said, yeah. He said, oh, that would be so great. That would be really cool. Wow, let's see, when would be a good time for you to play? All of a sudden now he's, at least in his head, he's out of his pain and he's in the moment, he's thinking about his funeral. And he was very excited that he said, oh, I said, it's gonna be so cool. He said, that's gonna be great. And he said, well, when do you think you should play it? He said, maybe sometime in the middle after, and he's just more and more excited. And finally, by the time I was just about ready to leave, he said, I got it. He said, I got it. He said, right before they leave, he said, have it be the last thing in the service. He said, that's when I think will be the best. You know, he said, that'll really get them walking out. I said, okay, whatever you like. I think that's a good idea, Jim. And I left there that day just so filled with, I mean, you call it the Holy Spirit, the Spirit, just joy. It was, I mean, I just got goosebumps just thinking about it. And because I did do the right things for the right reasons. I just went to cheer him up, and I felt I should play the song. That song came about from my whole journey from walking through the courage that allowed me to become a songwriter and to write. And so just like in Field of Dreams, where it was all about the player walking off the field, being the doctor to save the life of the child, that's what his purpose was. And if that's my only purpose in life, was for that moment to make him happy and to play that song for him at his funeral, which I will. And I don't know if he'll make it to Christmas or not, or New Year's, but whatever it is, I'll be there. And it's interesting, when you give, you receive. And I received the greatest gift from him. And it turns out, so did he. And I went back and I played for him a couple of days later. And
For a job well done, no need to cry. It's not my final destination. I'll be at the station when the train comes by. Some have it easy, some have it all. Some work so hard for so little. We sink to the bottom and we rise to the top, but mostly wind up in the middle. The more we are different, the more we're the same. I'm just one more who's worked through the riddle. And when I die, give me a standing ovation, a celebration for a job well done. No need to cry, it's not my final destination. I'll be at the station when the train comes by. When I die, give me a standing ovation, a celebration for a job well done. No need to cry, it's not my final destination.